All right, so as a quick check, look at these 6 questions. Which ones do you think are essential questions and which are not? So go ahead and pause the video as long as you need to answer and then resume the video when you are ready. Let's review these answers and see how many you agree with and why. So number 1, definitely not an essential question. It's really more like a test question because, there is a single correct answer. It doesn't spark debate, and it's not a question where the answer will change based upon new evidence. Number 2, okay, so kind of tricked everyone here because while this could technically be considered an essential question, it's a pretty weak example of one. Why? Well, generally speaking, it isn't immediately intriguing and probably won't spark a lot of debate, except maybe in a writer's circle. So a better question would be something like, how do I get people to pay attention to what I want to say? Or how can I get people to believe me? These kinds of questions are transferable outside of the writing classroom into multiple content areas, grade levels, and real life. So number 3, is biology destiny? This is actually very similar to the question that we talked about in the previous slide regarding nature versus nurture. This is truly a question for the ages and one that society is always asking and redefining based upon new evidence. Therefore, this is a great example of an essential question. Number 4. Onomatopoeia, what's up with that? This one is a great example of a fun question that is definitely not essential. In fact, I'm not even sure how to answer it. I mean, it's a great question for a stand-up comedian, but it's unlikely to spark immediate debate in your classroom. All right, number 5. Number 5 is one that often tricks people. What are examples of animals adapting to their environment? This is an open-ended question in that there is no single right or wrong answer. However, there are right or wrong answers. For instance, if we were to say a giraffe growing a long neck in order to eat leaves at the top of a tree, that is a correct answer. We can mark it right or wrong. Remember, the hallmark of an essential question is that there are no right or wrong answers, that it all depends upon the evidence and that you can debate it. Nobody's really going to debate whether or not the giraffe's long neck is an example of an adaptation, because it is. And so if you can answer the question and the discussion just kind of stops there, you know that it's not an essential question. It is an open-ended question, which is one of the things that an essential question needs to be. But remember, it has to have all of the 7 characteristics that we looked at previously, not just one of them. All right, and number 6, what are the limits of arithmetic? Yes, this is an example of an essential question. Now, it's probably an essential question we would want to use with older students. I'm not sure that kindergartners would get a lot out of this question, but it is an example of an essential question because it is truly debated even today. So to ensure that our curriculum has the highest quality essential questions, we have created our essential question and understanding banks, and you can access these through the training website where you found this video, or by going to http://bit.ly/U&EQ bank. Now notice that the U and EQ bank is all written out in uppercase. So UANDEQ bank, all uppercase. And yes, it is case sensitive. All right, so as a last activity, go ahead into the essential question banks and find at least 2 essential questions that you could use in a particular curriculum, and select questions with the following in mind. How will students engage with the essential questions, and what kinds of activities can you create for students to examine those questions? And then what direct and indirect connections can you make from the questions to your particular content area?